Hey, what's up guys, it's Jim Tay. Today I'm so excited to present to you this latest project where we're the sole marketing agents. It's a food factory, an industrial property in Singapore that's going to be launched in the Mandai Estate. It's an area that is set to have enormous growth that the government has put in plenty of efforts to rejuvenate and to transform into a food-centric industrial zone. I'll share with you more details shortly, but just before that, a few key selling points. This is a freehold property. Freehold food factories are really rare and limited in Singapore. They tend to be en bloc of previous sites. Next is that there is no ABSD payable for such properties. Regardless whether you are a foreigner or you are a local citizen, no ABSD applies. That's a hefty tax saved right there. Third point is that food is something that will continue to grow in demand, especially with increases in population over the long run. I'm really excited about the potential here, the dual use for own use, where if you are an existing F&B operator or want to start up a business, this is an area that's going to be suitable for you. Alternatively, I like to talk about the growth of the multiple kitchen concepts, also known as cloud kitchen. That is something that is set to grow further as well in the future, and it may make sense for you as an investor. If you have a high amount of capital to put in towards renovations, you can earn actually quite decent yield from a food factory investment. Yep, so with this said, I'm going to dive right into prepared slides to share with you more about this upcoming food factory. If you have further questions and want to make an appointment for the launch, which is happening right now, do get in touch with me directly. Okay, let's take a look. Let's dive right into the slides. So the property is called Food Vision at Mandai. Right at the first page, it states that it's a freehold property. That's definitely one of the big selling points. So I want to share a bit more statistics about Singapore's vibrant food scene. Here you can see, check out the GDP of the food services. Okay, from 2012 to 2021. See, it was a constant increase till 2019, where of course there was a dip in 2020 where we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic hit us. Since then, we have seen some recovery, and I do expect to see a further recovery into the year 2022. Food and beverage services accounted for the greatest year-on-year increase. Okay, second quarter 2022 had a 28% year-on-year increase. This is the highest across many segments in Singapore. Okay, we estimate that this, of course, will continue to grow, as like I shared earlier. Food is something that will never grow out of trend and will grow in proportion to the population, which of course is always increasing here. See, total food and beverage sales, you can see, is 40.2% up year-on-year. Okay, sales value is 928 million. And see, the food and beverage sales by industries are also increasing year-on-year. This is very good data, and I think will carry on to grow. Talking about food factories as a potential purchase, what's available to buy? Here is a slide that shows you the various areas that you can find food factories in Singapore. So you have the Pandan area, the southwest area of Singapore. You have closer to the central, MacTaggart Food Link. Okay, in the east you have JTC Bedok Food City. Okay, and over in the north, okay, you have these Apex Foodworks, Citrine Foodland, okay, and something by Tija Food Manufacturing. Mandai is a new area here where the government is increasingly pumping resources to develop. I'll go into more details about the schemes the governments are offering here. Okay, why is there demand for food factories? Because there's limited supply. Food factories and central kitchen have risen in demand in the recent year due to retail rents being very high and the government's push for productivity in F&B sectors. There's a lot of pent-up demand for local food manufacturing. Okay, and the popularity of food delivery services and e-commerce is constantly also rising. Okay, F&B operators also need to streamline their retail spaces, where if they produce food centrally at the central kitchen, it's much more effective and efficient for their operations. Government also has numerous initiatives, for example, the FOODINNOVATE and the Singapore's 30 by 30 food security goal. I'll leave links in the description below to all these incentives if you want to read more to find out further. Here's a little bit though about FOODINNOVATE, which is a multi-agency initiative to grow Singapore's food manufacturing industry through innovation. The vision is for Singapore to be the leading food and nutrition hub in Asia. right? Okay, you can see Food Vision promotes synergies and tap complementary strengths from the nearby upcoming Agri-Food Innovation Park in Sungai Kadut. Later on, you'll see a map where I can share with you where is this Agri-Food Innovation Park, also known as AFIP. The other thing to mention is Singapore's 30 by 30 food security goal. As you know, Singapore, we're a small nation with limited natural resources. So in fact, right now, many of our food is imported from external countries. So that makes us somewhat dependent on the external countries, which in fact, I think our government has gotten a big concern during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially when things like chicken were stopped from being supplied from our nearby neighbours Malaysia. So by Singapore's 30 by 30 food goal means that by 2030 we actually want to be very much self-reliant for food. Okay, as you can see, some of the key goals is to diversify import sources to reduce reliance on any single food supply source. Grow food locally to provide buffer supply in the event of overseas supply disruptions, and also grow overseas to help local companies expand abroad and export food back. So all this will again lead to increased demand in food production locally, facilities such as cold rooms, central kitchen, food processing or packaging, food catering, and others. Here's a little bit more about the project in detail. Right, so Food Vision at Mandai. It will be a 10-story multi-user ramp-up general industrial food factory development. For those new to this, a ramp-up means that there are vehicular access. Okay, trucks, cars can drive all the way up to 10 floors. Okay, here's the property address, 21 Mandai Estate. Okay, tenure, estate in fee simple, which also means freehold. It's a B2 land. Okay, site area is about 79,000 square feet. This is actually really a decent sized land plot for food factory. Later, you'll see the Google Maps image of the site. You can see that it's actually the amalgamation of two existing land plots. There will be 114 food factory units and one temporary staff canteen. Okay, sizes range from about 1668 to 1765 square feet, with a majority of the units lying at 1,722 square feet large. Later on, there's a chart that can show you the elevation chart, which has all the sizes of all the units. 50 car park lots in total, spread among all the floors, right? And 6 lorry lots. Expected date of vacant possession will be 31st of December 2026, with the legal completion by latest 31st December of 2029. Estimated floor-to-floor ceiling heights is slightly taller in the first and second story at 5.95 meters, and the third to 10th story is at 5.25 meters. Okay, electrical supply, again a little more power in the lower floors, 150 amps 3-phase and 100 amps 3-phase from the third to 10th story. Right? Okay, floor loading here. Floor loading, and all the details are here. If you want me to send it to you directly, of course, do get in touch, drop me a message. Okay, town gas, waste disposal system, exhaust dust, loading and unloading areas, all this quite self-explanatory. So here's a bit more about the location. Okay, you can see it's located at the Mandai Estate along Woodlands Road. Okay, one notable name in the area is Sheng Siong. Recently, there was a sale of another new food factory here, Food Fat at Mandai, which just recently sold out. That shows you the demand and popularity of food factories in this area. Okay, here is the Google map that I mentioned. See, Food Vision will be over here. Used to be 2 plots, you can see left and right. Now they are being combined to form Food Vision. Location here, 7 minutes drive to Kranji or UT MRT station, near to Sungai Kadut MRT interchange, which will be a future line that extends from the existing downtown line. 9 minutes drive to Woodlands Causeway, 13 minutes drive to Woodlands Regional Centre, which is of course at Woodlands MRT here, 12 minutes drive to New Mandai Wildlife Reserve, accessible to major expressways, and connected to various mature residential estates, UT, Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Panjang, and Woodlands. Here, let's talk a bit more about the land use, okay? So if you're familiar with Singapore has a master plan where the government strategically plans the use of the land for each different area of Singapore. In general, for this area, the Mandai, Kranji, and Lim Chu Kang, right? It's an urban nature district centered around nature-based adventures, wildlife, and biodiversity conservation efforts, as well as edutainment offerings featuring food production, heritage, and high-tech farming activities. As you know, nearby Lim Chu Kang is a place where a lot of farming and agriculture activities are happening in Singapore. This is what I was talking about earlier about the increasing use and promotion of this area as being food-centric. Okay, right? The government has said that nearby area, okay, near the Woodlands Regional Centre, there's this place known as the Northern Agri-Tech and Food Corridor, which consists of farms in Lim Chu Kang, the Senoko Food Zone, and the Agri-Food Innovation Park, as well as the Sungai Kedok Eco District. Okay, so this is one of the key nodes for food production in Singapore and agri-tech, and Food Vision at Mandai is strategically located pretty close to all these key areas, right? Okay, so a bit more about AFIP, the Agri-Food Innovation Park. Okay, it's meant to catalyze innovation in the agri-tech ecosystem by bringing tech together, high-tech, urban indoor farming and associated R&D activities. Food Vision is located within 5 minutes drive. This will promote collaboration and tap complementary strengths. This is a video on the Sungai Kedok Eco District. I'll have a card above that you can check out if you want to watch it directly. This is an artist's impression. You can see the Vision Cafe, which is the canteen. Okay, because of the size of the food factory, it's able to have a canteen. Note that many food factories with smaller land sizes will likely not have their own canteen, and staff will have to visit other places to find their food. This is the cross-section view where you can see the 10 stories of the food factory. Let me now move on to the unit types. Okay, so we have a few unit types. One of the most common ones is this one called the type A1, right? Type A1 is a unit that is deep, right? The depth is about 15 meters and the width is about 9.5 meters. The size of this space is about 1007, but if you like a bigger space, feel free, you can purchase more units and the wall in between them can be knocked down and combined. Here's an example that shows you, right? Take a look. They have combined both units, and then the space, the nice thing here which I want to point out is that the space at the front, you see where the vehicle parks, these are not part of your strata area, okay? The strata area that is sold to you is purely the internal usable area. Again, another artist's impression of the interior of the A1 layout. The other layout available is A3. This is a wider layout, okay? The length here, the entrance length is 14.3 meters, whereas the depth is 10 meters, right? This is an example of this layout. Type A3, you can take a look. Here it is. This is what I'm really excited about, the multi-kitchen concept, or known more popularly as cloud kitchens. I think cloud kitchens is a new trend going forward, and this can increase the yields of food factories for investors that traditionally is really low for the freehold units, about 1%. But if you convert it into a cloud kitchen concept, this multi-kitchen, you can potentially increase your yield to maybe even 10% or beyond. I think it's something really, really attractive for those with enough capital and interest. The cold room concept is also something that is provisioned for in Food Vision, because every unit will have a 175mm drop from the roller shutter in case they need to run any types of piping or any types of provisions to enable the cold room. Site plan, onto the site plan. Let me explain. These are parking lots. So as I said, every floor has its own parking lots, right? The width of the driveway is around 7.7 meters, okay, the ramp, and the common driveway here, the width is 9 meters. Okay. Every floor you have about 10 units. Okay. This is the first story. As you go higher up, you get 11 units. This is the diagrammatic chart. You may want to take note of this to see what are the unit sizes of each type available on each floor. Finally, I want to round up with the unique selling points here. So the development highlights. First is a rare freehold property. You have good land size and site attributes, which provides better facilities and can give better operational requirements to suit a wider variety of food-related businesses. Ramp up access to every unit. Common loading and unloading at doorstep. Temporary staff canteen available on ground floor. Okay, why temporary? Because it's up to the next vendor to seek approval from URA to carry on using the space as a staff canteen. That's definitely very convenient for anyone who works in the building. It's located within the well-established industrial and food zones of Mandai, Senoko, and Woodlands. As shared earlier, this is an up-and-coming area that government is putting much emphasis on. The recent food factory was sold out, the food fab at Mandai, and Sheng Siong is also nearby, which is testament to the growing popularity of Mandai. Proximity to upcoming Sungai Kadok Eco District and Northern Agri-Tech and Food Corridor. Finally, no additional buyer stamp duty and foreigners are eligible. In the units, you don't have any void space. So what's void space? Some developments where they have a high ceiling, you will be charged for the air space. Alright? Here at Food Vision, you're only charged for the space on the floor. No air space that will be chargeable to you in the strata area. High floor-to-floor height of about 5.25 to 5.95 meters. Level 1 and 2 is 5.95. 3 and above is 5.25. See, here's the sunken floor that I mentioned for cold room and kitchen operation. You have a flexible and modular layout to support large-scale operations with the potential for incorporating automation and technology. Dedicated refuse disposal chute for unit at second story and above, and dedicated exhaust shafts. Separate lifts for raw and cooked food to prevent cross-contamination. Well, so excited about this. This is the full specifications. Finally, to share a little bit about the price, it's guided to start from 2.3 million, which is pretty attractive and very similar, or should I say slightly lower than the recently sold out food fab at Mandai. Yep, we're the sole marketing agent, Orange Tea, and I represent the company to promote this product. I'd love to share with you more about Food Factory, especially on my thoughts about the investment potential as the cloud kitchens. My name is Jim Tay. The launch is happening right now. Do get in touch with me immediately if you want to take a look at this project and consider buying, whether it's for own use or investment. Thank you for watching thus far. My name is Jim Tay. I'll see you in my next video.